Hi. I just want to be clear on something to the folks at Caseyville. When I attended the February 19th, 2025 Village Board meeting, I had a couple of questions. The main one was Mayor G.W. Scott had signed the invoice for a $3,000 transmission repair at Marshall's Transmission. This was in 2022. Mayor G.W. Scott Sr. had retired from the village of Caseyville in 2011, and there's just no way he would have been the person signing to pick up a village vehicle. That's the work. That work is designated for village employees in the street department. Had he done that, he would have been in violation of the union contract. Also, Chief Tom Capitelli stated on December 20th of 2023 that two village employees, Dustin Mosby and Jeremy Dial, had actually picked up the truck. Okay, but Capitelli, he didn't know that, and Dustin Mosby even said in his own interview that he wasn't there that day. I don't know what truck Jeremy Dial picked up, but it sure wasn't the truck that G.W. Scott Sr. had signed for. However, the reason G.W. Scott Jr. was named was because I didn't have any way of knowing whose signature was what. It just said G.W. Scott. Well, when I looked at some old invoices from Marshalls and other businesses, I saw G.W. Scott Jr.'s signature on those invoices, and the signature on that invoice was from G.W. Scott Sr., and that's on his business license for his little side excavating business in the village of Caseyville. Now, I don't know how he got to run that business and his son be his partner and not violate union rules, but that's what it was, okay? The truck was signed for by G.W. Scott Sr., not G.W. Scott Jr. I just want to be clear on that. But no one bothered to say that. No one bothered to clear that up. But those are the questions I went and asked. But when you look at the written meeting minutes that Cindy Miller and the board voted on, they're not even close to what I said, okay? And if you would review the meeting minutes and review the video of the meeting minutes, you would see that. If anybody would like to see the signatures or anything of that nature, feel free to ask me. I have beat my head on a rock with this board, and Cindy Miller is basically refusing to follow the legal advice of the village attorney. Now, that might upset me, but the reason I'm glad she's doing it is that removes her from the qualified immunity that most public officials enjoy in the state of Illinois. That will allow me to sue her personally for this misdeed. I have asked and asked and asked, and I really don't know how much more I have to do, but they can't even seem to get it on the agenda to get it corrected. I've asked the mayor, I've asked the board, and all I've gotten so far is garble, and they act like I just brought it up. This has been going on for months, okay? I disputed those meeting minutes the moment I was allowed to see them. I do not get to see them prior to a meeting, and I had no way of seeing them to object then. I have been there to object, and I am not getting anywhere. So those of you wondering why I'm so upset, that's why. But the fact is, Jeremy Dial or Dustin Mosby never picked up that truck, and I want to know why the mayor's signature is on an invoice for a $3,000 transmission repair. That's all. And maybe Mayor Scott will answer that question for you. But, G.W. Scott Jr., he has resigned his position in the village of Caseyville to do something else. So, the thing is, G.W. Scott Jr. did not sign for that truck. It was his father. And at that time it was signed for, he had no authorization to actually do it. He would have been violating, again, the union contract, okay? And like I said, Dustin Mosby says he wasn't there. I don't think Jeremy Dial picked up the truck that's in question. I think he picked up a truck, but I don't think it was that truck. Because if he had picked up the truck, he or Dustin Mosby would have signed for it, and they did not. The mayor of the village of Caseyville signed for it. And that's what I went to the meeting to ask about on February 19th of 2025. The meeting minutes do not reflect that at all. And it's getting old, and if they think I'm just going to go away, I'm not.